Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a very quick League of Legends video. So it's been a while since I've made a video talking about some form of Zed trick or technique or something cool that you can do with him to essentially outplay your opponents, but I definitely think it's time for something new. So this trick we're going to be calling the Hidden Shadow because it's the way you throw out your W mixed in with the way you take your ultimate shadow, all combined together to make it extremely subtle, hard to pay attention to, and even in certain scenarios, you can even completely miss the fact that Zed even threw out his W in the first place. Now I do not want to take credit for this because there's actually another Zed player on YouTube called Advanced Zed that I got this trick from, so I will be linking his video down below in the description if you want to check him out for yourself. But first things first, let's take a look at the trick itself from Advanced Zed's point of view. Now it happens very quickly, so make sure you pay attention. But here's another example of him doing the same thing, but it's just a lot easier to understand exactly what's happening. You can see the way he throws out his W shadow. So let's take another look in slow motion at the first clip. So he starts off by ulting Misfortune and everything seems to be completely normal, but the thing he does that's very interesting is he throws out his W right there. You can see it as he takes his ultimate shadow back to its initial location, but when you look at it at normal play speed, it happens so fast, especially with all the action and other abilities happening. It's extremely subtle and hard to see, to the point where you don't even actually notice him throwing out his W. Now this trick isn't the most mechanically advanced, but if done correctly, especially with a lot of other action happening around the team fight, you can see there the W coming out, it's very hard to notice. And one thing I also noticed, which I'll talk a bit about later, is the fact that in the Championship Zed skin, it's even more effective because the animation for the W coming out is much more subtle. So let me show you guys how this looks like in just a much more simpler fashion. So essentially what you want to do is you want to ult your target, you want to use abilities, and then just before you take your R back, you also throw out your W, and it looks like the W is coming out from the shadow left behind by your ultimate. So most people, especially in the heat of a battle, will be trying to look at where exactly you just went from your ultimate shadow, where exactly you are on the map now or in the team fight, and they will not be paying attention to something as minor as this small little shadow coming out from what looks to be another shadow. Again, it's deceptive, and again, people will not notice, and you can use this to your advantage, and Zed is all about being tricky and being kind of like a true ninja. Now again, in these examples here, it looks pretty cool, but it's obviously not very difficult to not see the shadow coming out of Zed's, I guess, shadow ultimate. But again, keep in mind, this is the most basic of examples, because there really isn't a whole lot of other action happening in this specific clip. All you're really seeing is Zed attack stationary targets, but again, when there's other abilities in a team fight happening, it becomes more and more difficult to notice. And I promise you, this can easily catch people off guard, and you can even combine this with your E ability. So right before you take your R back to throw out your W, you also use your E, and the E will sort of mask the shadow coming out. So I definitely recommend trying this out and testing it for yourself, maybe in a custom game, in a normals game, or whatever. Again, not the most difficult trick in the book for Zed, but it's definitely a very interesting one, and I've never seen anyone actually utilize the shadows to this extent or to this level. Because usually people will throw out their W first, or throw out their W and then kind of let it chill there, and then take one of the shadows back, not at the exact same time, and make it almost look like the ultimate shadow is the thing that's actually throwing out the W shadow as well, while also guiding the enemy champions to look at your position currently that you just took back from the shadow and not pay attention to the new one that's coming out from a place where you normally would not expect it to come out from. But let me show you guys very quickly why I said the Championship Zed skin makes this trick even better, because again, the animation and the visuals for the W coming out are much more subtle. So on the left, of course, you have the regular Zed, on the right you have Championship Zed, and as I slow it down as the W comes out, the Championship Zed W seems more subtle. There's less kind of shadowy or darker elements to it, so it's much more difficult to notice. So with all of that being said, let's take one more look at the initial clip I showed you of Advanced Zed showing off this trick. And again, I want you guys to let me know how many of you even noticed this trick and what he did and how he threw out his W the very first time you saw it, because I know personally I did not, and I had to look back several times and see exactly what he did. But either way guys, there you have it, a somewhat new and pretty damn cool Zed trick that I personally have almost never seen anyone do, nor have I really thought of doing something like this myself, where you're combining several things at the exact same time to mislead your opponents, be very subtle and tricky, and just sort of catch them by surprise in a very interesting way. So if you enjoyed this video, then let me know by hitting that like button. Make sure to check out the videos I have linked down below, again to Advanced Zed's video and his YouTube channel as well, on top of iFunzio's channel, where they had a montage of Advanced Zed, where I also happened to use a clip from to show you guys a slightly simpler, more easier version to understand of this trick. But either way, I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I hope to see you for my next video. Peace.